Hey, this is Joe with Grow It Build It, and I'm going to give you a little guide on how to divide plants and transplant perennials. Um, Certain perennial flowers are going to get really big in the diameter at the base. So like the clump of flowers is going to grow and grow, and the same goes with ornamental grasses. Eventually they can get too large where the center of the plant will actually die out. And this is pretty much on fibrous roots. Plants with fibrous roots, if they have a taproot, they tend to not, spread like that. So they don't require division. But Liatris spicata is an example. This one actually will grow new corms, is what they're called. They're like little bulbs, and you can just kind of bust those off and dig them up. But basically, you want to do this. Step one is you want to do this in early spring or late fall. And that's very important because there's not a heat load on the plant, so watering is not as crucial. Also, they're not producing flowers or seed. If the plants are producing flowers or seed and you want to transplant one, you're probably going to kill it because all its energy is going into making that bloom to then turn around and make the seed. But again, you can see I got new shoots just starting to pop up, like that's on that cone flower there. So we're going to go and divide some of these up. So obviously step one's timing. Step two is you want moist ground. I had a lot of rain the night before, but if I didn't, I'd be watering the day before just to make sure my soil was thoroughly saturated. Now you want a spade, a trowel, and a big knife or a saw. Those are the main tools you're going to need. You'll also want to have maybe some pots and possibly some topsoil or potting soil to backfill. So what we're going to do is clear the debris away from our plant, this one being New England Aster. It's a clump forming fibrous root plant. But once we've cleared the debris away, we're going to dig out under the plant. So I'm going to move my shovel about 2-3 inches back from the plant, and then I will dig at a roughly a 45-degree angle, maybe a little steeper. And I'm just going to keep going around until I can rock the whole plant out. So that's step 3, is to actually dig the ball out, dig the whole clump out at once. And just take your time when you do this. Don't get too aggressive. Now, after we've dug it out, the next step is to actually divide it, really. You can knock away some of the excess soil if you want to. I have seen people where they've really divided a plant, like, taken a chunk of Liatris and split it up into like 6 different corms. But anyways, if your plant's large enough like this aster is, it's probably a foot across. I'm just going to put my shovel in the middle of it and stomp right through the thing. And that's it. That one is now divided. The next step is basically just to plant your plants. So instead of one big aster plant, I have 2 good-sized ones. But you're probably going to need some backfill here because you are removing half the volume when you divide these and split them up. But just backfill it in there, pack it in tight, and then once you're done with that, the last step is to water it. And that's just to make sure that it's going to have enough available moisture. Now, my dirt is really, really wet right now, so it's probably not as crucial for me, but it's always a good idea to do so. But that's basically about it. If you have mulch, you can remulch around the plant, but that chunk of aster will be good for a while. It's not very hot out, so on and so forth. Now here's a cone flower. This is Echinacea Purpurea, and this is about the only Echinacea you can do this with because all the other ones I think have taproots, so no dividing. You'll most likely kill them. But again, we're going to clear the area away. We're going to put the shovel a few inches back behind the plant, and then we're going to work around it until we can rock it out of there. Echinacea is really easy to divide up. It's real robust, it's not finicky. But in this case, though, my plant's not as big as the other one, so I'm actually going to use my saw, and I'll use that to cut it down the middle. It's a lot more precise to use a saw than a shovel, obviously. But what's cool about this, though, is you kind of, not only will you keep your plants you like looking better in those locations, you're also getting free plants that you can just move around your property, or if you got a friend, you can give it to them, or even try to sell one. Why not? But once you've cut through the main rootstock, you can just kind of pry it apart like that, and there we go. That guy is ready to get transplanted somewhere else, and I'll put this guy right back in the hole. Just backfill, water, and mulch. Done. But when it comes to grasses, you're pretty much going to follow the exact same process that I've shown. This is little Bluestem. It's a medium-sized prairie grass, about 4 or 5 feet and tall, and you can see that one's about 8 inches diameter as my glove for reference. Essentially, yeah, we're going to do pretty much the same process. We're going to gently rock it up out of the ground, and then we will cut it up. Now, if you want to know more about any of these plants, we do got articles on all of them at our website, growitbuiltit.com. And we have this whole video, we actually have an article talking all about this and some other tips there too. So if you want to go check that out. This is a really cool way just to score free plants, man. I mean, why wouldn't you do this? You're going to keep your stuff looking good, and on top of it all, you're going to double your population of flowers or whatnot. But anyways, the other thing I wanted to show you is just regular perennials. Now, Columbine is a flower that blooms very early in the year. So if you're going to transplant this, you either need to do it in late fall or very early spring when it's only like an inch tall. So here I'm just pulling the whole chunk right out of the ground, and I'm not trying to divide anything here. I don't even think you could divide Columbine if you tried. You'd probably end up killing it because it seems to have, I don't know, somewhat of a shallow taproot. But anyways, I'm just throwing it into the ground, and I'm going to cover it up, and then I'll be watering it in, and that's it. So give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. But if you got questions, ask them in the comments. I'll see if I can answer them. But thanks a lot. Have a good one.